Hello and welcome to the Phys3702 Optical Resonator lab. This lab is designed to be a challenge-based lab. One of the main purposes of it is to get a student to be able to build their own Pro interferometer and to optically line up the lasers so that everything is aligned properly, and it's just really good for building lab skills. Unfortunately, you'll be doing this online, so I will build the Pro interferometer for you myself, and I'll run you through all the steps that you would need to do so, just so you have a quick understanding of what you need to go through to line everything up properly. After that, the other part of the lab is where you just need to observe the resonant modes and give a good explanation as to how they're formed, why they change. And so I'll show you a couple of those resonant modes on the wall, and I'll leave you that for you to figure out yourself as to why they form and why they change, etc. Alright, so I'll move the camera and get you into the first part of the lab. Alright, and so for the first part of this lab, we're going to be working on designing our Pro interferometer and building it. So we have our laser already in position, hitting our first mirror, which is already in position for us as well. The first thing that we want to check with this mirror is that the beam that comes off is parallel to the bench top and that it is travelling right down one of these grid lines. And so to check that it's travelling down one of these grid lines, I'll get this ruler and stand it up so it's aligned with those grid lines. And we should see that as I start to align, the laser beam just hits the edge here. And so that tells us that we're going down the grid line well. I'll move it further out, and so you're just hitting as we're on that grid line. And I'll check that it hits when we're close as well. So as I move it forward, we are just hitting, which is good. And so that means that mirror is lined up well. The other thing that we just want to check is the height. And so if I move the ruler over this side and we get close, and we just want the beam to start hitting the ruler, we can see on this side it's just hitting here, which lines up with 13 centimeters. And so then as we go further away, do the same thing, and you can see it just hits there as we lined up with 13 centimeters. So we know our beam is parallel to our bench top and moving right down one of these grid lines. And so what we want to do next is add in our second mirror, and so that goes right here. And so first we're just going to try and eyeball it a little bit to get it in the right position. So we want it so that the edge of the mirror is right along the grid line, the corner of the grid line. So that looks about right to me. Can then rotate it so it looks like we're moving straight down the grid line. And what we want to kind of try and do here is get it so our beam goes straight down the grid line. We want it to be parallel to the bench top. We also want the reflected beam that comes back from this third mirror to hit straight away. But we'll ignore that reflected beam for now because it's more important to get this right. In the lab instructions, this third mirror shouldn't be here, but it's screwed into the bench top so we can't move it away for now. And so I'll just focus on this single beam moving directly down first. And so looks like we're kind of on the track, so I'll get the ruler in. Have a look just here. And so we're a little off when we're up close. Have a look down here. And we're a little off as well because it's not hitting the edge of the ruler. And so what I want to do is I think I need to pull it back a little bit. So we'll have another look. So we're a bit too far over now then, and then we're here. We're a bit too far on the left. So that means we're aiming too far to the right, and we're starting too far on the left. So to fix that, I'll need to pull the mirror back a little bit and rotate it anti-clockwise a little bit. So I'll check again now. So we're too far across there. As we get closer, too far across as well. So what I'll do now is just rotate it a little bit until we get closer. So here our beam looks like it's right there, but then as we get towards the mirror, it's a little bit off. So I'll need to pull it back a little bit more and rotate it the other way. We'll see where we are. So the end of our beam looks like it's in the right position, and at the start, it's still a little too close. So we'll fix that up. See how this is now. So we're going to close to the mirror. I think we need to rotate it a little bit more. But then at the end it's about right. Pull it back a little more. Rotate it back. See how we line up now. So close to the mirror, we're about right. And then close to the mirror, it looks like we're about right as well. I'll just do a minor adjustment now. We're about right. I think we need to pull it back just a little bit more. So again, I'm trying to aim straight down that mirror, and I'm checking that as I line up with the ruler, we're just hitting the side. I just need to move both of them to the right a bit. So that's too far. I need to bring this back a little bit more. Now, so here we're just hitting on that line to get closer to the mirror. So we're just hitting, just do a minor adjustment. Yeah. Just hitting there. We're just hitting here. I think we lined up pretty well parallel now. And so the last thing we want to check is our height, like we did before. Line it up and see where the beam is hitting. So because we have this little stage here, it's a little more difficult to check the height. I'll just check it at the start. And so here we're at 11.5 mil. And we get closer, we're at about 11.6, so I'll just shift it down a fraction. It's now right on 11.5, and we're right on 11.5 again. Alright, so that second mirror should be lined up well now. Next thing we want to check is this third mirror that's reflecting it back. We just want to make sure that where it gets reflected back, it lines up with the initial dot. Because this third meter has a 99% reflection factor, and that's to help us set up this Phys3702 interferometer once we put our final mirror in. Because what it will be doing is it will let a small amount of light through, but then reflect most of it back. And when we put this last mirror in here, it will keep reflecting it back, and so you'll get lots of multiple rays that have a slight path difference to each other, and that gives us our interference patterns. It's looking like it's about there now, so I'll put in our last mirror, and that needs to go here. So again, we just want it in position so that everything bounces back onto each other. It's all the same height. So now I'm just making some minor adjustments so all the beams line up on top of each other. Hopefully this is okay now. And finally we'll just add in our last little beam expander and hope that we can see the resultant interference patterns. And so our Phys3702 interferometer should be all set up now. Should be able to see it. And so now from here, I'll turn the light off, make sure we get some resonant modes, and then I'll show you some of those modes, and then it's up to you to determine the physics behind everything that is going on here.